Hey guys, this is Nia. Welcome back to my channel. Before we start, I want to wish everyone a happy new year. I've been saying a few times before that I'm going to do a sketchbook tour, and this is it. So basically, if you guys have been following me since the start of this channel, I bought a sketchbook, which is this yellow one, and I thought that was my New Year's resolution last year to finish that sketchbook. But when the sketchbook arrived, I did not like the quality of the paper, and basically the point of completing the sketchbook is to get me to draw or paint more, and in terms of that I think I've drawn more than I've ever drawn before last year, just all over the place, not in one sketchbook. So I will go over my oldest watercolor sketchbook, which is this black moleskin one. This is all over the place. I was experimenting a lot of different styles of paintings and different subject matters, and I jumped from page to page. I even painted old sketches from 2 years ago and completed it recently, so you'll definitely notice the differences in style and the quality of painting from page to page. I started the sketchbook in 2015, and I wouldn't say it's fully completed because there are some sketches that I haven't finished yet, but it's the closest to completion I guess I've ever gotten in a sketchbook. If you guys would like me to maybe finish one of the sketches that I haven't painted, I might do that for a video. This next painting, which is a fan art of Ponyo but a grown version, was one of the first things that I sketched when I first got the sketchbook, probably in 2016, and this is one of the paintings that I finished mid this year. I think I used Cotman watercolor palette. If you follow me on Instagram, you've probably seen this one before. It was mostly an excuse for me to paint the jellyfishes. Even though this took a lot of time and layering, this is probably one of my favorite pieces of the sketchbook. I'll zoom in a bit on the paintings that I liked throughout this sketchbook tour. A while ago, I also followed this Skinny Art, who's a great artist. She also does a lot of figure paintings with galaxies and plants. I think she's probably one of the artists who popularized galaxy watercolor paintings, and this piece right here is something that was inspired by her galaxies. It was also an old sketch that I painted straight after I finished the previous Ponyo paintings. This wolf here is actually my first attempt of ever painting a galaxy, and it's kind of interesting to have the galaxy paintings back to back and see the difference. I first got into drawing and art because of anime and playing Zelda Ocarina of Time when I was little. Like a lot of illustrators, Japanese manga was a huge influence, and when I was little I did a lot of fan arts. And it was more natural to go in the path of figure drawing, which I still find so difficult and I still need to work on. But since I've been into food illustrations lately, I kinda didn't care too much about figure drawings anymore, which kind of sucks, but it kind of took a backseat even though I sketch from time to time. I think this is the only sketchbook where I painted or draw a fair bit of characters and figures in my sketchbook. This one is a fan art from a movie called Your Name. It's an anime movie. I enjoyed the plot of this anime and also the art, and since I was into galaxy painting back then, it's just an excuse to do more sky and galaxy paintings. I think past this point of my sketchbook, most of the paintings are things that I posted on my YouTube already, so it'll probably look familiar to some of you, and this is also where I start to doodle more and not only do finished artworks. I basically made another sketchbook with different types of paper just so I wouldn't feel so bad and too wasteful of the good paper to doodle or experiment. It really helped me to paint more, but I've almost finished the sketchbook since the back pages are mostly just for notes and things. I'll show you a bit of that later on in the video. These here are something I painted so long ago when I first started my channel. The one of Mikasa I didn't like so much, so I ended up taking it down, but the unicorn here I really enjoyed painting. I love mixing the pastel colors together and seeing all the different hues next to each other. I mentioned before that I started drawing because of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Well, I still like the game, so I did this fan art from Breath of the Wild, and I actually just painted this last night using my Holbein paint, but I sketched it a while back. I don't even remember when. This is my second attempt on the Galaxy Wolf, which I also posted a while back. I actually painted this the third time and it was way better than this one. I did it for a painting workshop that I held, but I lost the painting, so sadly I can't show it here to you guys, but you can check my Instagram if you're curious. As you probably noticed, I also do quite a bit of messy pages where I try large brushes and see how the water flow affects the painting. But it's things like these I actually feel like it's a waste of paper, so I try to not do too many of them in the sketchbook, and that's also why I made the other one. This is an example of my unfinished sketch. It's still quite rough, but I usually put notes to remind myself of what I wanted this painting to look like and what sort of style I want. I don't know, maybe sometime I will finish this off camera or something, and you can probably see it on Instagram. This sketchbook is finished with some flower tutorials that I posted a while ago, and that's it for the sketchbook. I mean, it's not 100% complete, but it's mostly there. As you probably noticed, sometimes I do two of the same tutorials, and that's because either the camera wasn't focusing or I wasn't happy with the end product, and I do try to plan it a bit more now so I don't have to refilm things over again. But the tutorials here are one of the earlier ones, so you can see all the mistakes that I make. I also have some tutorial paintings that I didn't end up posting because back then my eczema was really bad and I had ointments on my hands when I was painting. I did not realize that the oil from my hands was affecting the watercolor, and it started separating the watercolors. That's why I didn't end up posting some of them, plus I wasn't too happy with them either. The next sketchbook is the sketchbook that I promised to finish last year, but turns out I did not like the paper, so I kept putting it off and I didn't end up painting on it that much. I really like the size of this. Maybe, hopefully I'll come to terms with the paper one day and finish it, but no promises. I'll just show you some of the sketches or paintings that I did for the sketchbook. If I end up finishing it, I'll probably show you guys in a sketchbook tour, but I don't think I would be painting on it in front of the camera though. I've actually bought another sketchbook roughly this size, which I'm planning on only painting food illustrations on, and made another one specifically for easy painting tutorials, just so the paintings can be presented in a nice way in one sketchbook. I know I'm limiting myself this way, but those are the subject matters that I'm interested in at the moment anyway, and I can always bind another sketchbook if I need it for a different subject matter. Let's just see if the system works out or not, because goodness knows I don't always follow up with my initial plan. I like my finished artwork to be all in one place because it'll end up taking too much space if I keep it in loose pieces of paper, and space is something I don't really have. This way I also won't lose my paintings. I made this sketchbook mid last year. It has a mixture of thick and thin watercolor paper. It also has print paper at the back for notes and sketch paper for sketches and doodles. It's almost finished, but I'm not going to show you the whole thing because it also contains plans that I have for future videos. Since I'm almost done with the sketchbook, I'll most likely make another one just purely for doodling and experimenting. This sketchbook mostly has either finished food illustrations or loose botanical paintings at the back, which are the tutorials that I'm planning to make this year. But I still find that it's all over the place. This is the first sketchbook that I've ever made. I think because I combine different types of paper though, I wasn't so hesitant to paint or doodle because I'm not too worried about wasting good thick watercolor paper. So I'll definitely make another one like this once this one is fully completed. Last year, I also experimented with bookbinding and I quite like it. So since I still have a lot of loose watercolor paper, I'll most likely just turn them into sketchbooks. This is the second sketchbook that I made. This time I stitched it together and made a hardcover for it. And this will be the sketchbook where I compile all my easy tutorials. To make the sketchbook, I followed tutorials by Sea Lemon, but I improvised it a bit while making the signatures. Instead of using 4 pieces of paper, I only used 2 since I'm using thick watercolor paper. I also included some print paper for notes and changed the size to fit my needs. So if you're interested, you can check her channel out. It's really awesome. I always go to her channel whenever I need info on bookbinding. I'm not that great at it yet, I still make mistakes, so I think it takes a few tries. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this sketchbook tour. Thank you for watching till the end, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye!